good with y'all, boys? Welcome back to the episode of Rank Everything Sports Podcast. Today we're here to break down our NFL locks of the week, y'all. We have a new season among us. It's officially playoff season. We're back together. We're back better than ever. Ready to win y'all some money. I'm currently sitting at 25, 26, and 1, right under 500, and Ray's sitting well above 500 at 18, 13, and 1. So, Ray, postseason officially among us. What is your first NFL playoff lock of the year, baby?
My first lock of the year is going to be my only straight up spread. It's going to be the Cowboys minus 7.5. It's just a team that's really, really hot, that's been beaten up on teams that aren't so great, and I think that's going to continue, especially at home. If this game was at Green Bay, I might be like, okay, maybe stay away. But at home, I feel like this Cowboys team is going to dominate just like they've been doing. I feel like this Cowboys team is different. I feel like they're going to be able to dominate the Green Bay by at least 10 points. So I think 7.5 should be a lock. I feel like Dak and CD will be on. I feel like the defense will be on. And I feel like that the Cowboys will cover the 7.5 easily.
Yeah, I mean, it looks great on paper, and I definitely hope you're right about that. But, hey, the Cowboys will do Cowboys things, that's for sure. But
not in the wild card round.
For my first lock of the week, I'm taking the Rams plus 3.5 at Detroit at minus 120. Now, I think the Rams team are just better. They've won 6 out of 7 games when they played their starters the whole game. I'm not going to count that last game. And their only loss that they had at these same games was in overtime against a good, probably the best team left in the playoffs is the Ravens. And they lost in overtime to a punt return. So I love the Rams. I think they're great. Matt Stafford got some time off last week. So did Aaron Donald. So did Cooper Kupp. So they're going to be healthy rolling in to Detroit. And this Detroit team's not that good. I mean, they're good. Don't get me wrong. But I don't trust Jared Goff in the playoffs. Sam Laporta is dealing with an injury. He's probably not going to play their star tight end. And we know how reckless Dan Campbell can be as far as play calling and decision making goes. And one of the underrated stories in this game is Matt Stafford's making his return to Detroit. He was excellent in that building for 7+ years. I mean, I think he's an overall better quarterback than Jared Goff still. And I can see them outright winning this game. I did put money on the Rams money line, and I think they can go in there for sure 3.5. And I wouldn't be surprised if they win by a touchdown or 2 scores. So I love the Rams plus 3.5.
2 scores is crazy, but I do think this team can put up points. Just how many points the line is going to be able to score, because just like the Rams, any week they could score 10 or they could get up to 40. So it just depends. They both have very good young wide receivers, so we'll just see which ones shine on Sunday they play. Yeah. Then next up for me, I'm going to stay with that Cowboys game. And I'm going to go to CeeDee Lamb over 97.5 receiving yards at minus 115. CeeDee Lamb just puts up over 100 yards every game. And then now looking at the playoffs, Dak's going to want to go to his guy. Dak's going to want to go where he knows. And then you got Green Bay with a 23rd ranked pass defense. I don't know that anybody in this league is going to be able to hold CeeDee Lamb over 100 yards in the playoffs. So I'm going to go ahead and lock that in. Dak's having his MVP year. I don't think he'll win it, but he's going to come second to Lamar, and he's going to continue to show that MVP caliber play by giving the ball to CD in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean that's a great bet. Plus, the Cowboys don't have a great run game, so whether they're up by 10 or God forbid, down by 10, CD's going to get the ball, and he's going to get a lot of opportunities to make big plays. So I love that bet. My next bet, I've never done this bet ever on the podcast or outside of the podcast, but I'm taking the Rams versus Detroit to go over 10 points in the first quarter. Now, the Lions have gone over this in 7 straight games. We know how bad their defense is as well. And they're playing against a good head coach in Sean McVay, who will scheme a touchdown on one of their opening drives. And the Rams have gone over this 5 out of their 6 games. So, while although it's a weird bet, I think that this could be a high-scoring game. We know how good the Rams D-line is with Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, and those type of guys. But their secondary can get got. And the Detroit Lions defense overall is just not very good. So I expect this score to be about 7-7 in the first quarter and possibly 10-7. I expect this game to start fast and then maybe slow down. But I do expect them to get over 10 points or at least push at the worst.
Yeah, I agree with that. I can see that because just like I said, those young wide receivers are going to come out ready to play. Both teams really had last week off. I mean, some players played, but not everybody played the full game. So, and a lot of players were sat. So, especially like Cooper Kupp and players like that. So, everybody should be fresh and ready to go and get a good start. So, I agree with that one. Then next up for me is going to be Eagles Bucks under 44. The Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown injury just really are going to going to affect this Eagles team who's already not playing well. The Bucks offense is shaky at best the last 2 weeks. I just feel like in the playoffs, I don't know if this Bucks team is ready to play. This Eagles team, I don't believe can get to even half of the under, which is 22 points, and I still think they'll win the game, which is close. I think it'd be close, but I believe this game should be around 37, 38 points, especially with I don't think A.J. Brown's going to play. I don't know if they've officially announced it, but it definitely didn't look good. And then Jalen Hurts, I don't think he's going to be at his best. He's tired of getting hit. So I just feel like this game's going to be a very, very, I wouldn't even say a defensive heavy game. I just say not an offensive heavy game.
Yeah, I mean, this game surprisingly is going to be kind of ugly, I think, honestly. But I am sticking with the same game, and I'm taking the Eagles minus 2.5 at minus 125. Now, do I feel comfortable taking the Eagles where they are right now? No, but I don't think the Bucks are a very good team. I think they're a solid team. They're decent, and they definitely overachieved. And I feel good about what Baker Mayfield has been doing, playing with the injury and everything like that. But I mean, they beat the worst team in the league in a must-win by 9 points. And that game should have been closer than it was. I mean, Carolina had a fumble through the end zone that ended up in a touchback. So this Bucks team has not been playing great football. I mean, we look at their wins. They beat the Bears, terrible. Minnesota, they have 5 quarterbacks that played this year. New Orleans was their best win. New Orleans was their best win. Then they beat Tennessee, Carolina, Atlanta, Green Bay, probably their second best win, Jacksonville, and then you make the playoffs, and then Carolina again. So who have they really beaten, you know? And this Eagles team already beat them earlier in the year. Now, they were playing much better, but the Eagles dominated that game. They won by 2 touchdowns, and that was at Tampa Bay as well. So I don't think that them playing at Tampa Bay is going to be a big swing difference at all. But I'm just banking on the fact that whether A.J. Brown plays or not, I think that the Eagles are just a better team no matter where they play. I don't like it at 3, but I will take the 2.5.
I like that bet too. I just think the Eagles, I mean, it's finally time for them to bounce back. We've seen how they've been these last 2 weeks, but I feel like they are going to pull it together. I mean, this is a team that we've seen go deep in the playoffs just last year, so I feel like this team will pull it together. How far will they make it? I don't know, but I think they're just better than this Bucks team, no matter how bad they're playing right now. The next up for me, I'm going to go with actually a teaser. I'm going to go with a 6-point teaser in the Kansas City and Miami game. I'm going to go Kansas City plus 1.5. That's a 6-point teaser for minus 4.5. And then I'm going to go under 50.5. The line is at 44.5. And that's a minus 120. So the last time they played, there's only 35 points scored, and that was at a perfect condition game overseas. And then you also look, and they're supposed to have a negative wind chill for the game. I just believe this game is going to be slow, sluggish. I just don't believe that many points are going to be scored. I mean, you look last time, they scored 15 points less than 50.5, and then now they're playing in way worse conditions than they did. I just don't see this game going over. And then you look at the spread. I honestly was just trying to get it close to a Kansas City money line because I just believe that Kansas City is a better team. We looked at it last time. Yeah, the game was close, but if you watch the game, Kansas City really led the whole time. And then there's one person I don't bet against, and that's the baby goat. That's Patrick Mahomes. I'm taking him every time if he's playing. I'm not betting against him, especially with the Dolphins offense who's shaky. Give me that teaser at minus 120.
Yeah, like you said, I'm sticking with this game as well, but I'm going with a player prop. But I'm taking Isaiah Pacheco over 59.5 rushing yards at minus 115. Now, like you said, it's going to be a negative 15-degree wind chill. So at the start of the game, it's going to be about 0 degrees. But then with that wind chill, it's going to get in the negatives. Miami is a south team, about 55, 60 degrees, and that's on a really cold day. They thought they were going to be the 1 seed. And now they got to travel all the way to Kansas City and play at Arrowhead. I just don't see them being physical enough and stopping Pacheco. Pacheco's coming off a career game against the Bengals 2 weeks ago, rushing for 130 yards and having almost 20 carries. I think they'll lean on Pacheco a lot. And Miami, they're out Phillips, one of their D linemen. He popped his Achilles. They're out Chubb with a torn ACL. And then Van Ginkel, their best linebacker's out now too. And he's going to be a game-time decision, and I'm not sure if he'll play because he got hurt just last week or just this week against Buffalo. So I think Pacheco is going to dominate them, honestly. I can see him going for well over 100. I can see Kansas City getting up pretty big. Like you said, the weather conditions are not going to be great. It's probably going to be windy. It's probably going to be snowy, and it's going to be just bad conditions. And a team down south, not used to that cold weather, they're not going to hit unless they have to. And we know how hard and how Pacheco runs. When he runs the ball, he punishes people. So I think he can honestly get half of this on a couple runs. I can see him breaking out one for 25, maybe 30 yards, and then just kind of running it down their throat the rest of the way. So I love Pacheco over 59.5 rushing yards.
Then my last bet is going to be the big guy, Travis Travis Kelce over 56.5 receiving yards. I get this year has not been one of his best years, and I get that that Kansas City offense has been shaky, but they're still a 3 seed. They still have Patrick Mahomes, and I believe in the playoffs, especially in the first round, Patrick Mahomes is going to be looking to the one guy he knows he can trust, and that's Travis Kelce. 56.5, he beats that all the time. He's had 2 weeks of rest now, not playing last week, so he's going to be really fresh and ready to go. And I just believe that while all the struggles that Kansas City's had, that Patrick Mahomes is going to be looking to get to Travis Kelce. I think the whole Kansas City offense is going to want the ball to go to Travis Kelce. He's used to these positions. He's used to being in the playoffs with Patrick Mahomes. He's used to the cold weather, and I feel like they're going to feed him this game. He could go over 100 yards.
Yep, and that was my last bet actually. And what's crazy about that bet actually dropped to 55.5. I know it's just a yard, but I don't understand how he's that low. So that was my fifth and final lock. Kelsey, he's just different in the playoffs. He is. I expect him to get in the end zone as well. I'm not going to bet on that unless I get close to plus money, but I expect him to have one of those 8 catches, 95, 100-ish yards in a touchdown game. I expect him and Mahomes coming off basically a bye week, not playing this week. I expect them to just get on the same page. It's at Arrowhead, a big game, and they've already beat this team. I expect Kelsey to have a throwback game and really just use everything he has left in the tank. But y'all, those are our locks of the week, our NFL playoff locks, man. We're coming with y'all easy money. I'm about to get over 500. Ray's already 500, so we appreciate y'all watching, and as always, tune in next time.
Peace.